News just coming in, DMK MLAs will boycott the floor test in Tamil Nadu if the situation so arises. Top party sources have told India Today DMK MLAs have all been summoned to Chennai ahead of the possible floor test. 89 is the number of DMK MLAs in Tamil Nadu State Assembly. Of the 235 member State Assembly, 118 is the halfway mark. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's T.S. Sudhir for more on this. Sudhir, what's the thinking within the DMK? Why do they want to boycott the floor test?
Well, the DMK is actually does not want under any circumstances for the advantage to go to either of the two camps. Of course, their antipathy towards the Sasikala camp is well known. There were some kind of talks between the Paneerselvam camp and the DMK, thinking that if Paneerselvam is able to get about 70 odd MLAs, the DM could look at supporting it from the outside. That was the thinking in the very initial days. That's last week when Paneerselvam had revolted. Subsequently, the DMK also realized that over the past 1 week, Paneerselvam's stature itself has grown, and they would actually be committing political harakiri by actually supporting Paneerselvam should that kind of an opportunity arise. But now things have also changed. One, Paneerselvam does not have the support of 60 to 70 MLAs as was initially thought to be. He's just about at a dozen odd MLAs. So in that sense, he's nowhere close to forming the government, and it would not be appropriate or even proper for the DMK to support him from outside. So that condition does not arise. Number two, it does not want to commit on what position it wants to take on the floor of the house, which is why the DMK MLAs, we are told by our sources, could well be not part of any kind of floor test should the governor order one here in the Tamil Nadu Assembly.
Okay. I also want to quickly bring in India Today's Padmaja Joshi for the other big development that's taken place. TTV Dinakaran has been made the Deputy General Secretary of the AIA-DMK, and Padmaja, those who'd been ousted by Jayalalitha are now back at the helm of affairs. What's the reaction from within the AIA-DMK and not just the O Paneerselvam camp where you are just now, but also the Palanisamy camp? Are they accepting it? Are all accepting this?
Well, in fact, nobody obviously wants to speak on the record because this is a decision which has been taken by Chinnamma herself. But Gaurav, the fact remains that this is possibly just a check that has been put in place, because what happened with O Paneerselvam is not something that Sasikala can risk again. And this time, remember, she's going to be in jail. Basically, to have installed O Paneerselvam as the Chief Minister while she was elected General Secretary and then eventually would take over as CM was the idea. Who would have known, or rather Sasikala would have never thought that suddenly OPS would come out and rebel like this, and she does not want to risk the same with E. Palanisamy as well, and which is why she has her trusted family member and in fact someone who had been who she had said she would never get back into politics, her nephew. She's installed him also in the inner circle now, perhaps to keep an eye on E. Palanisamy while she is away in jail. There's also a very interesting development that earlier last week, when Sasikala had met the governor, she had her nephew by her side. It was then itself that eyebrows were raised, where people had begun wondering whether this is the return of the family which was infamously known as the Manargudi Mafia. And of course, the kind of violations that he has committed are out in the public domain. It was only in the beginning of this year that he had been fined a huge amount for FERA violations, Gaurav.
Oh, absolutely. Fined a massive 2.25 crore rupees in FERA violations. But now TTV Dinakaran is at the helm of affairs, the second most powerful position in the AIA-DMK as Deputy General Secretary. But what does this mean for the party, and what's the road ahead? Is governor's rule an option in Tamil Nadu, given the factionalism within the AIA-DMK and the fact DMK is saying that they will not even come to take part in the floor test? What are options for Governor Vidyasagar Rao? Rajdeep Sardesai put these questions to Mukul Rohatgi, the Attorney General of India. He, of course, rules out governor's rule or president's rule at this stage. But what are the options? Let's listen in.
It's now all about the numbers in Indian politics in Tamil Nadu. Take a look at these numbers. These are the numbers, the important ones to remember. The Tamil Nadu Assembly is 235, so the majority is 118. In the elections that were held in May 2016, the AIDMK got 135, the DMK 89, Congress 8, nominated 1, vacant 1. So AIDMK is 17 ahead of the majority. Now look at where the problems come. Problem number 1 is that O. Paneerselvam at the moment has 10 MLAs. So 135 becomes 125. That's just 7 above the majority. What happens next? What if Mr. Paneerselvam...